Good morning, Bacon Academy. Coming up on today's show, an apartment fire in East Hartford, Lance Armstrong confesses to Oprah about doping allegations, and astronomers have discovered the largest object in the universe. All that and more now on the Bacon Academy Student News. Today is Tuesday, January 15th, 2013. I'm Bernie Dennler.
And I'm Matt McAllister.
East Hartford firefighters responded to a 3-alarm fire that happened early this morning at an apartment complex in Ellington Road. The surrounding complexes were evacuated as residents of the Gateway Estates complex leapt from their windows while trying to escape the blaze. 10 people were injured, one suffering from several broken bones, and 3 of which were firefighters. There is suspicion that this may have been an arson fire, but the true cause of it is still under investigation.
In U.S. and world news, on Tuesday, French warplanes were reported to have carried out an airstrike against Islamist fighters who overran a strategic village and military post in Mali. This is the first indication that the fight against extremists who have established a jihadist state in the north of Mali could be a long and complicated one. French President François Hollande said on Monday that French jets had hit their targets in the overnight strike on the rebel forces. Quote, "We have 750 troops deployed at the moment, and that will keep increasing so that as quickly as possible we can hand over to the Africans," said Hollande.
After years of denial, Lance Armstrong has admitted to doping in an interview with Oprah Winfrey. The interview took place a few hours after Armstrong's emotional apology to the staff of the Livestrong charity, which he founded and was later forced to surrender. Armstrong confessed that he had used performance-enhancing drugs during his cycling career, which included 7 Tour de France victories. He was stripped of his titles last year after the U.S. anti-doping agency issued a 1,000-page report that accused him of a long-running doping scheme.
William Paul, grandson of Congressman Ron Paul and son of U.S. Senator Rand Paul, has been charged with assaulting an attendant on a flight to North Carolina. He was arrested when his plane landed after he used aggressive physical force on a female flight attendant.
The U.S. Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, is launching a project known as the Upward Falling Payloads Project, which involves developing storage capsules for military assets that could stay at the bottom of the sea for years if needed. The aim is to store non-lethal technology in the ocean in pressurized capsules ready for deployment. Those systems would provide the military with operational support and would be able to distribute technologies to the Navy anywhere and at any time. The project is not without issues, however, as DARPA would have to figure out how to make the nodes last under extreme ocean pressures and how to wake the nodes up after years of inactivity. DARPA emphasizes that it is not a weapons project, so the risk of losing a node in the system is minimal.
Former President George H.W. Bush was released from a Houston hospital yesterday, more than 7 weeks after beginning treatment for severe bronchitis. He was admitted to the hospital in November and was transferred to intensive care in December, prompting speculation that the nation's 41st president, who is currently 88 years old, might not survive. Bush said he owes his improved condition, to a team of wonderful doctors.
Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas ended years of silence yesterday. After nearly 7 years of not speaking from the bench, Thomas spoke yesterday in court, presumably to make a joke. The comment made was partly inaudible, and so the transcript from yesterday's deliberations is incomplete with regard to his comment. But the transcript does make note of laughter in the courtroom following the remark. Though his silent streak is broken, Thomas's record of not asking questions from the bench continues.
With the Super Bowl just weeks away, the Denver Broncos choked in a historic fashion at Mile High Stadium on Saturday night, losing to the Baltimore Ravens 38-35 in double overtime. Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco was able to push the game into overtime with a last-minute touchdown reception to Jacoby Jones. It was all downhill for Denver from here, with cornerback Champ Bailey becoming more of a liability than a strength, and Peyton Manning throwing 2 interceptions, one of which Baltimore cornerback Corey Graham was able to run back for a touchdown. While the Broncos said goodbye to the playoffs, the Pats, 49ers, and the Falcons all picked up wins this weekend.
In science news, on Sunday, a huge solar eruption unleashed a wave of solar plasma that was aimed at the Earth and may amplify the northern light display later in the week. The eruption, called a coronal mass ejection, or CME, occurred around 2 a.m. and will take about 3 days to reach the Earth. Researchers say that the CME was not strong enough to damage satellites or electrical stations on Earth, however.
NASA has signed a deal to purchase an $18 million inflatable module for the International Space Station from the private spaceflight company Bigelow Aerospace. The module will be the company's third orbitable prototype. However, it will be the first to be tested with a crewed spacecraft. NASA is interested in using this technology for future deep space missions, including those to asteroids, the Moon, and even Mars.
And finally, astronomers have discovered a galactic structure so large that modern cosmological theory would suggest that it does not actually exist. A massive cluster of quasars, which are galactic cores, is now believed to be the largest structure in the universe, stretching an astonishing 4 billion light-years across. For comparison, the entire Milky Way galaxy in which the solar system and Earth is found stretches just 100,000 light-years across. And the distance between the Milky Way and its closest neighboring galaxy, Andromeda, is just 2.5 million light-years. What makes the find so surprising, however, is that the modern understanding of the universe suggests that structures larger than 1.2 billion light-years cannot exist.
That's all for today. Join us again tomorrow for more school, local, national, and world news.
And remember, you can catch us online too at youtube.com/BA Student News.